So first thing I'm doing, I'm just going to get the bottom nice and flat and flush, and then I'm going to create a recess for the mechanism of the peppermill, and then we'll start drilling it out and hollowing it. So I need a specific size entry hole, which is a 1 1/16 inch for the mechanism to fit, but we'll drill half to 2/3 of the way through with a center bore, and then work on hollowing out from inside of there. But step one, get the bottom flat. And I'll try to do that without getting right in front of the camera. So what I'm really worried about right now is just this section here, getting that nice and flat and flush, because that's going to establish the wall of the base. Now we can start drilling out and creating my recess in the bottom. So I got a 1/2 inch drill bit in a Jacob's chuck. So what I want to do is establish a starter hole. This is going to get me a little less than halfway through, but I think that's good enough to start. I can use that for hollowing, and then it also takes out a little bit of the bulk before I get on to the next couple of steps here. So make sure we're ready to go. Turn the lathe speed way down. And the benefit of the Jacob's chuck versus just doing this by hand is it helps keep me nice and centered. So I've just rough turned the outside. I'm going to do the finish turning later, but for now the center is based on the chuck. But once we flip it around, it's going to be based on this new center that we're establishing and the inside of the tendon that I'm going to create in a little bit. So keep bringing it out, let the chips out. All right, so that's a start. Okay, so now I want to establish the wall thickness for the base of the peppermill, and then also establish the inside. It's going to be a dovetailed out inside tenon that's going to be supported in the chuck when I flip it around. So let me figure out which tool I want to work with here. Grab my face shield. See, I'm still spinning fairly nice and true here. I don't want to go too high on the speed and knock that loose. Okay, so we're getting close. I think I want to go a little bit deeper, probably close to maybe a little bit over 1/8 to 3/16 of an inch. But so far so good. All right, so that established a little bit of my dovetail inside of there for the jaws, and I think I still want to go a tiny bit deeper. All right, I'm pretty happy with that. Let's call that good. Okay, so now I have my Jacob's chuck back in my tailstock. Now I have a 1 1/16 inch Forstner bit in here. I'm going to turn the speed back down on the lathe again. And this is the exact inside diameter required for the Peppermill kit that I'm using for the base piece. So I'm just going to take my time here. I want good clean shoulders on this first part of the cut. This part where the kit engages, it doesn't go very deep, but I'm going to drill this in deeper because this is going to be the start of my hollowing process. And then I'll just hollow out from this 1 1/16 inch hole in the inside in the next couple of steps. So I don't know how well you can see this on the camera, but this wood is cutting very nice and clean, doesn't seem to be clogging up the bit too badly. So nice and slow. If I was better and faster at hollowing, I could probably just skip that step once I got first the inside established. But I'm not that great at hollowing, so I'm going to use this hybrid technique of a combination of bits and then hollowing. So I first established the beginning of that hollow before I started turning out this recess with the 1/2 inch bit on the Jacob's chuck. But now I have a 1/4 inch bit just on a handle. So I'm going to try to take that a little bit deeper. Okay, so now I'm up into the neck, and I'm pretty comfortable with that until I come back from the other side. So put that guy back, and I'm going to come back in with a 1/2 inch. That's probably good enough. I should have done it before, but I'm going to go turn on my compressor and get some air for cleaning this out as we work. Next step, I'm going to start hollowing here. So I'm going to hollow from the inside out. And since this is not my final outside surface, I want to get to a reasonable wall thickness without going too thin. I have not done a ton of hollowing. I've only done maybe 8 or 10 of these Peppermills so far. I'm getting better at it, but I'm still not great. It's really fun, but it is a little bit stressful. A couple things can happen. You can get a bad catch and then knock the whole system loose. You're going to have to go back and try to reestablish the center and start over again. Another thing can happen is if you're really excited the first time and you get a little bit too aggressive, you can waste a whole bunch of work and previous effort and some nice materials. But I've only done that once. Be at least 80% confident I'm not going to do it again this time. Just slow and steady wins the race. Just take little bites at a time. And just take your time and sneak up on it. So the trick is to keep in mind, I'm only going to hollow about halfway down, maybe a tiny bit past half. So that's going to get me about to the base of the neck. So the neck is a little over 1/3 of the length and the rest being 2/3. So just sort of a classic proportions. I'm going to hollow to somewhere around here, and I'm just going to take that a little bite at a time. I don't know how well this is going to show on camera. I'm going to try to do it while staying out of the way, and we'll just see how this goes. Okay, making some progress. So I'm going to switch to this gooseneck hollowing tool. It's going to let me get in a little further laterally and then work my way up to establish a wider volume just inside of the rim to hold a larger volume of peppercorns and hopefully create a nice smooth sort of ramped transition to help the peppercorns roll down into the mechanism nicely. That feels pretty good. I think I can go out a little deeper, and then I'm creating a ridge inside there I'm going to have to take out with the other tool. It's good. I'm just applying some shellac as a sanding sealer. So off camera I did 3 coats of the shellac as a sanding sealer. So next thing to do, now that that's completely dry, it's got a very nice finish on it, good enough until I get the final finish at the end. I'm going to go ahead and pull this guy out of here and spin him around and chuck it in from this end. Then I can get ready to do turn the final outside shape and get ready to sand and finish that when I'm done with that, as well as hollow out from the other end. So first I got to get my board out of here.